The time check on Radiowa. It's 8 a.m.
Because news is not gossip, we are positive.
Thank you very much, friends, relatives, and distinguished guests. I'm a man of few words, but I must say this. Uganda is now a free...
You should know that I know what I'm doing, because I'm not the one who started the violence. Uganda is not a failed state. It is not a dictatorial state. It's not an Egypt. It's not a Sudan. It's not a Libya. It is Uganda.
It's 89.8 FM News Time.
A very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome for the latest news on Radiowa. Let's start with the top stories. LC1 and LC2 chairpersons of Lira District threatened to have a peaceful demonstration over unpaid salary. Lawyer Mabirizi drags government to court over oil pipeline deal. And Tanzania denying asylum to fleeing Mozambicans. These stories and others now in detail. My name is Winnie Auma. Although swearing in of new councillors and leaders are ongoing in various districts throughout the country, Apache district is still at a standstill. At a stand till 27th this month. Section 169 of Local Government Act states that all former district councillors transit to new council effective after president swearing in. However, Michael Wanje, the Chief Administrative Officer of Apache, says the provision is not very clear as it only talks about handover and not swearing in. According to him, the former LC5 chairperson, who is also the newly elected Member of Parliament for Kwania North, will be sworn in to his new position on Thursday and therefore shall not be able to hand over to the LC5 elect.
So, given that the situation is not very clear, that provision is not very clear. Talking about handover is not talking about swearing in. But provisionally for us in Apache, swearing in tentatively is on 27th. In case there is any change, we shall let you know.
Wanje stated that his office has yet written to Attorney General through Ministry of Health for a clear provision in swearing in, though tentatively Apache district councillors will swear in on 27th May. LC1 and LC2 chairpersons of Lira districts have threatened to have a peaceful demonstration as they expressed disappointment towards the delay of their payment by the district. Speaking to the chairperson LC2 of the Worldwide in Lira City East Division, Moses Omara says they will be forced to resign because of the challenges they are facing at work. He says they are quite aware of their meager salary, but they would be comfortable if it could be given in time. He said previously they were being paid 30,000 per quarter, but since last year they have not received any pay. He further noted that if by the end of this week they have not been paid, they are ready to storm the office of the Chief Administrative Officer, the Resident District Commissioner and Community Development Officer so that they can be attended to. Most of the chairpersons are pointing fingers towards the chairperson, rather the spokesperson of Lira District, Francis Okelolwa, but he has a hand towards the delay of their salary. Among other complainants are Maxwell Peter Omara, chairperson LC1 of Okerepe Coxel in Iwal, Patrick Otim of Adu Village in Ogu Parish, Tony Ogwang of the Worldwide, among others. Meanwhile, Francis Okelolwa, the spokesperson for Lira District, who also doubles as the Senior Development Community Officer, says it is true that the local council 1 and 2s have not been paid for about 10 months. However, he urged them to keep calm as their money is already in the account and only waiting to be paid at the end of the financial year. The public of Lao and the entire northern region can now share information to police to the regional center in Gulu City. The North Kyoga Public Relations Officer, Jimmy Patrick Okema, says the operational call center in Gulu City will serve Haswa River region and North Kyoga, adding that the public can dial 112 or 999 to report emergency cases, which can help the police to rescue a given situation before it gets out of hand.
We would like to confirm to members of the public that we have an operational call center which is stationed at Gulu in Gulu City, and this is serving two regions. It's serving Aswa region and North Kyoga region for purposes of information sharing.
Okema says that the call center, which was initially only stationed at police headquarters in Kampala, has now been decentralized to bring the services closer to the people. He says people trained to manage the center will always guide the public and connect them easily to police, especially at wee hours.
Any members of the public who have a phone number can call. You will be received and guided by that team to the area commander. We have seen challenges where incidences happen in the community. Like the whole of last week, we have registered a number of murder cases. So it is operational. We have had a successful training that went very well. And as I speak now, we have staffs who are managing.
He says both numbers are now active and encourage people to call anytime they need to report an incident to police. In other stories, lawyer Malem Abidizi has run to court to force government to reveal the details of the East African oil pipeline agreement that the Uganda and Tanzanian government signed with oil companies. Uganda, Tanzania, and the two oil companies of Total E&P and China's National Offshore Oil Corporation last month signed the East African crude oil pipeline deal that included the tariff and transportation agreements between the pipeline company and the shippers of the crude oil through the pipeline. The two governments and oil firms also signed the host government agreement for the Republic of Uganda and the shareholding agreement for shareholders to the East African crude oil pipeline company. However, in his suit against the Ugandan Attorney General, Mabirizi says it was wrong and illegal for the Minister of Energy, Permanent Secretary, to refuse to heed to his request to have access to the pipeline agreement under the Access to Information Act. The lawyer, who says he is a Ugandan citizen, lawyer by profession, and civically active person, wants court to direct the Permanent Secretary to avail the agreement but also stop him from ever concealing the same information. He says the information requested for is liable to mandatory disclosure in public interest and to enable him institute criminal proceedings. This is the latest news on Radiowa 89.8 FM.
Wa Business Today.
Brought to you by Guru Nanak Oil Mills Company Limited, manufacturers of Shea Butter Master Wash Laundry Bar Soap.
DFCU Bank has extended support to the Uganda Cancer Institute with the construction of a 100-seater shelter to provide outpatients with a secure and decent waiting area as they access health services at Mulago Institute. The shelter, valued at close to Uganda shillings 80 million, is expected to be ready for use in 4 weeks. The Uganda Cancer Institute was established in 1967, and its mission is to provide state-of-the-art cancer care services while advancing knowledge through research and training of healthcare professionals in cancer care. One of the major challenges faced by Uganda Cancer Institute is the high patient load as a result of increasing cancer awareness and incidence in the country. Because cancer care in Uganda has not been decentralized, Uganda Cancer Institute is the only facility in the country that offers cancer care services, thus contributing to the high patient numbers at the institute. With 70% outpatient cases, on average there are 60 patients daily at the facility, most of them with at least one caretaker. Despite the high numbers, the patients who sometimes need to visit the facility for between 1 to 3 months have to take shelter under tree shades or any open space they can find.
Health news.
The United States is one of the only countries worldwide to allow fully vaccinated people to go without masks, while the rate of COVID-19 infections remains relatively high. Other countries with higher vaccination rates and lower infection rates still require masks indoors. Guidance released last week from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention lifted restrictions for vaccinated people once 2 weeks had passed since their last shot. Center for Disease Control Director Rochelle Walensky told reporters last week that anyone who has been fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
International news.
The UN Refugee Agency says it is deeply concerned that people fleeing violence in northern Mozambique are being refused asylum in neighboring Tanzania and are being forcibly returned. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees says it has received worrying reports that 1,500 people have turned back this month and several thousand since the beginning of the year. Some had trekked for days. Following a jihadist attack on the Mozambican town of Palma in March, tens of thousands of Mozambicans have fled their homes. 750,000 people have been displaced since the conflict started in 2017.
War Sports on 89.8 FM for updates on the latest sports news.
Chelsea fan Rory Jennings has said manager Thomas Tuchel will be sacked by Roman Abramovich if it does not win silverware and finishes outside the Premier League top 4. The Blues lost the final chance to win a trophy last weekend as they were defeated 1-0 by Leicester City in the FA Cup final. Jennings told Mail Online that later this month, Chelsea take on Manchester City in the Champions League final.
Wa Ecclesia Church News.
Pope Francis has appointed Father Stephen Chow SJ as the next Bishop of Hong Kong. Chow, 61 years, has served as the provincial of the Jesuit Chinese province since 2018. In that role, he led the Jesuit order in Taiwan, Hong Kong, Machu, and mainland China as the Vatican-China deal was first signed and during the crackdown on Hong Kong's democracy protest movement. The Vatican announced Chow's appointment on Monday yesterday, more than 2 years after the death of Bishop Michael Yang Ming-Cheng left Hong Kong without a permanent bishop. Father Stephen Chow was born in Hong Kong on August 7, 1959. He studied in the United States, earning a bachelor's and master's degree in psychology from the University of Minnesota before entering the Society of Jesus in Dublin, Ireland, at the age of 25. Today, May 19, 2021, the Rosary Prayer for the end of coronavirus will be held from the shrine of Mother Mary's house in Turkey for all people at war and for world peace. And dear listener, let's end the news with a recap of the top stories. LC1 and LC2 chairpersons of Lira District threatened to have a peaceful demonstration over unpaid salary. Lawyer Mabirizi drags government to court over oil pipeline deal. And Tanzania denying asylum to fleeing Mozambicans. Thank you so much for joining us. That was the latest here. Stay tuned for other news coming here during the course of the day, and have a good morning.
That was the news on 89.8 FM, Radiowa.